It's another week and another brand new episode here on the Granny Panty Podcast. I'm your host, RubyLynne. Before we go too far, make sure you hit that subscribe and tap that bell because you do not want to miss an episode. If you'd like to follow me, the host, you can go to rubylynne.bio where it's all things Ruby. This week's guest is going to blow you away. She's going to leave you speechless when you hear her story, when you hear how she's helping other women get money in their bank accounts, get their needs met, their self-esteem is higher. She's a life coach. She is a former pastor turned stripper, OnlyFans. She's got quite a story. So help me welcome Nikole Mitchell. Nikole Mitchell, I am so excited to have you on the show this week. Thank you for making the time.
Oh my gosh, thank you so much. We're going to have such a fun conversation.
I know we are because when I recently met you in January at X3 in LA, I knew who you were, but I had never met you. And we ended up yakking, talking, chatting. I'm like, just share my table with me. So
that was so fun. I love when I get to meet people in real life. Like the internet's such a bizarre, amazing thing where we know people for years. And then when you finally meet in person, there's just something so special about that. That was pretty amazing.
It was. And I was shocked at how many people we actually knew in common, having never met, come from these two ends. But I knew a lot about you through an acquaintance of mine here in Portland who you have been, I think, her life coach, life mentor. And so I learned a lot through that.
I love that.
But
It's a small
let's
world.
start. I know it's a small
Yeah.
world. I
Mm-hmm.
can't believe it. But I'm excited. I know a little bit about your story, but I kind of want to rewind just a second and find out how a pastor goes to a stripper.
Just a slight career change. Just a slight career change. It's so crazy. So when people hear that tagline I've become known for, pastor turned stripper, it has this feeling of overnight transformation, right? But it was a 2-year journey where I left my church. I was on the pastoral team at this mega church, preaching there all the time, teaching there, volunteering there. I was very involved in my community. And the older I got, the more involved I became, the more disillusioned I became by religion, by my church, by just all the dogma I had been raised with, and realized I was queer in the midst of all of this. And I was raised in a very black and white, things are certain and guaranteed. And for me to realize my own sexuality so late in life was jarring. And like, if I live in this body full time and I don't even know my sexuality, what else do I think I know that I totally don't know about myself? And so I went on this journey of like, I have to figure out who I am apart from all the rules, all the religion. I'm a grown ass woman. What do I want? What resonates with me, not just what I'm told to believe. And it was this 2-year unraveling and unlearning and coming home to who I really am, which we all now know I was a very closeted slut. And so I came home to that. And
I love that.
and it was like liberating to name something I'd always felt, but
Mhm,
terrifying because it was
mhm,
the exact opposite, the antithesis to everything I've been taught and raised to
mhm,
become. And so I
mhm.
had a very real decision to make at, do I shove down that realization and
Right.
stay on the good girl path? Or do I claim that part of myself and
Mhm.
see where it leads? And I end up choosing to claim it and see where it would lead.
I can only imagine how that felt to you to try to separate what had been drilled into you as a person, into your soul, all those years and question it. What was the first thing you really said to yourself that made you question that?
Well, when I question it, the thing that came to my mind when you asked that was the first thing I said to myself was, how about I just take this to the grave? No one needs to know. No one needs to know I'm questioning. No one needs to know I'm queer. No one needs to know that I'm a slut. Like, no one needs to know. I have such a good girl persona. I have a good girl
Mhm.
energy. It's like I pass as that good girl, wife, mother, woman I was taught to be.
Right.
Why disrupt everything in my life to claim these parts of myself that I'm not even sure where it's going to lead? Um, but I'm just such an authentic person that I'm like, at some point, I'm like, Nikole, you're in your 30s. You're not 13. Like, the whole point should be finding out who you are and what you love and do it. And like, you're already miserable being who everyone else needs you to be. What if you tried being your true self and just see? And if it go back. Like, I just don't believe there's any one decision you can make that ruins everything forever. It's like, try it out, see if you love
Mhm.
it. And if you don't, return to the life that you currently have. So I was willing to take the risk. And that was the comfort I would tell myself is if this all falls apart, I can always return.
That's true. You had that plan B backup, which
Yeah,
I think a lot of women who get into sex work didn't have a plan B. You know, they were in survival mode, I believe. But I've heard a bit of your story. You were married when you had this uh, epiphany, correct?
I was married, happily married. And he was the one person I was not afraid to tell my truth to. He was very loving, very open minded. And I remember the day I came out to him as queer, and I still wasn't even sure what that meant. I just knew I wasn't straight. And when I told him that, he just said, I think that's awesome. I think that's normal. I think that's healthy. And I'm so happy for you. And I started bawling, and he just like held me in his arms as he just held me in my own becoming. Like, I still didn't even have a label for it. I still didn't even fully know. And he just reassured me that it was okay. So he was always in my corner when I started my OnlyFans. He's the one buying my lingerie for it. He was the one taking my photos for it. So when our marriage blew up a little while later, I did not see that coming.
Okay. Okay. And how did you want to express that queerness? Were you wanting to experiment with like swing lifestyle with him? Did you want to date a girl? Tell me a little bit more about what you wanted to do or what you thought at that
That's a
time.
that's a great question. It took me a while to figure that out because I just wanted to own that part of my truth without needing to explore with it. And he was one who encouraged me, like, go play with women. Like, you didn't have that chance. It's not fair. And I was like, no, I was so terrified of disrupting our relationship and like, what if it falls apart? So I was like, no, 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 no. And he was one encouraging it. And so then maybe, I don't know, a year into it or something, I think I like kissed my first few women at this conference, and I came back so excited, and then it really triggered my husband. And I think it's one thing to like say the right thing and think you'll be okay with it. And I know, it's anyone who does this work knows it. It's your body can have a very different reaction when someone does it.
Yeah.
So then it scared me how much it triggered him. So then I pulled back in. And so that it was a lot of back and forth. And so then I started buying books on non-monogamy and polyamory, just trying to become more informed. And the more I read and the more plugged in I got into communities, the more I realized not only am I queer, I think I'm non-monogamous. I
Mhm.
don't think monogamy is for me. And so like, and our marriage was based on monogamy. It's what we were taught to believe in. And so the further I went down this road and learning my actual desires, the more came up that I want this and I want that. Yeah, I love to make out with men. I love to make out with women. I want to have so many experiences. Like once I realized how open the world was outside of the very black and white box I was raised in, I was like, oh my God, I have one life. I want to do everything. Like, but I was scared because I loved this man and we had made an agreement many, many years ago. And so we did a lot of talking and I did just a lot of researching and waiting, just trying to see where our marriage would
Right.
go. And I started my OnlyFans, which was a great outlet for all this energy. I have so much love to give people, and I love being very sensual. I'm an exhibitionist. I love being watched. And doing it online was a safe way to do it because
Mhm.
no one's touching me. I'm not going to get scammed or I'm safe, all these things. Um, but eventually, we both realized we had both changed a lot, but I had all these desires I wanted to explore that would not work inside of our marriage agreement from many years ago.
Gotcha. And was this all during COVID? Was that also
Yes.
a factor?
It, it was it was the perfect storm. It was COVID. It was me realizing my true self. He really, really changed as well. Like we kind of did this crisscross. We were very different when we met. And I thought we were getting closer, but we were actually crossing over and we kind of became each other's opposites. And I didn't see that coming with him. He didn't see it coming with me. And we became so different. And we're in COVID, lockdown full time,
Yep.
and we had just moved to California, so like no friends or family, like just really had to come to grips of who are we apart from everyone else.
Right.
And we realized we were very different people and we wanted very different things, and I did not want to be that couple that stayed in a relationship years after they knew it was meant to
Yep.
be over.
Yep. That is so true. And I was one of those people that stayed years.
It's
But
so common. Yeah.
yeah, it is. It is. So, did you have a big social media following at that point in time at all?
Mm-mm. I had maybe, I think at this time I had a few thousand on Instagram. I think, or maybe by then, I think I maybe cracked the 10,000 on Instagram, and I was like, oh my gosh, like that was a big deal for me. Um, but it wasn't until I came out with my story, because I'm also a
Yeah.
life coach, and I'm like, I want to help more people live their truth and like be proud of it, not be so afraid. And I'm like, if I can make this massive pivot in my life, I can help people making all kinds of pivots. And so I came out with my story to the New York Post as the pastor turned stripper and to get my coaching business out there. And I had no idea. I thought it would blow up. The next morning I woke up and it was an article published and it blew up, and there's millions of people like DMing me, emailing me, and that's when my social media blew up. And it all was towards my OnlyFans, which everyone was like, you strategized this, you schemed this, you saw this coming. And I love the credit you're giving me. I wish I was that smart, but I was just trying to grow my coaching business, and it blew up my OnlyFans.
And I think also that was in a period in time where girls, especially, only can speak for the female end of it. We were craving that coaching, watching people, women blow up making, 50, 60, 500,000 a month on OnlyFans. And so I myself, I had a OF coach back then. I just kind of looked around, who's a top girl? You know, they obviously know what they're doing. But I
Yes.
think I think it was a perfect storm for you.
It was the perfect. It was terrifying to watch everything I had built dissolve, but it really led to what I would claim is like the truest version of the life I've ever wanted to live. The life I have now is so beautiful, so aligned, so true. Like I always tell people, I'm happier, healthier, and wealthier. Like all the boxes are ticked. I am so grateful, but it did require me to let go of who I was to give myself a chance to become who I could be, and who I came to be is so much more alive and true than my previous version. And I am so grateful.
I agree with you with that. I saw the same thing. Talk to me a little about the family dynamics. Now, I know you have kids, you post them on Instagram and stuff. How did they deal with this mom, wearing shirts up to, button to her neck versus going to church versus, wow, mom and dad are getting a divorce? I mean, was there
Love
like, I can imagine, and I'm sure, just knowing kind of who you are, that you took a lot of thought process and handled that. Did you lose any family, extended family, because of your choice?
Yeah. Oh, I lost my entire immediate family. So my parents, all of my siblings, all three of my best friends. It was it was traumatizing that me, because I'm very, if anyone knows me, I'm very thoughtful about the decisions I make. I
Mhm.
don't do anything rush or haphazard. I actually have the tendency to overthink and overplan and overhash things out because I want to make sure everyone's okay. It's loyalty to a fault to everyone's well-being before mine. And when I finally started prioritizing my well-being, to see how many people took offense to that, it was heartbreaking, because I wasn't trying to hurt people. I wasn't trying to be like, aha, got you. It was like, I think I'm gonna do this thing and I'm
Right,
really scared, but I'm really excited. And they're like, you villain, you monster. And I was just like, and so to be abandoned so quickly was a very traumatic experience for me. And it all worked on the end, got lots of therapy and help and mentorship around that. And I've done a lot of deep healing, but it makes me all the more committed to my children, because they saw me go through all this, and I've just told them, I will have your back no matter what. There is no decision you could do. There's no career you could pick unless you're murdering people, which is not a career, that is a crime. Like, there's no career you could pick that I would abandon you
Right.
for not being. And there's no one I want you to be. I actually want you to be who you came here to be. And my job as your parent is to help uncover that, not control that. And
Yeah.
so it makes me all that more committed to be that source of unconditional love, because my love in my life was so conditional.
Right.
But yeah, so I lost everyone, and that's why people thought I was crazy, because like, don't you see, everyone disagrees with you. So by external evidence only, they were right. If my family, my husband, my best friends, my entire church community are screaming, "You're wrong," you are probably wrong. But I just knew in my heart I wasn't. And so I was willing to stick with it, even while everyone was like screaming from the rooftops, "You're and I'm like, but I just don't think I am." And here we are, and it's been the best decision I've made. But man, I had to stay committed in the midst of so much pushback.
Well, and I have this saying, when you become a sex worker or you're or OnlyFans, whatever, you quickly figure out who doesn't love you unconditionally.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
it's like
Same.
so painful. It's like it's good, like, because it reveals to you who does, which we are so grateful, but it also reveals who doesn't. And it's heartbreaking because there's certain relationships, like, there's no way, like my best friend of 13 years, who we've been through everything together. And the quick speed with which she cut me off was devastating. Like,
Yeah.
really, after everything I've supported you. So yeah, it's like it's a double-edged sword. Like, please reveal to me who my true loyal family and friends are, but also I don't want to see who isn't. So
Yeah.
it's a hard thing to walk.
I lost my son. My middle son
Oh,
disowned, and
so sorry.
he and his wife have 3 of, our grandkids. So through a lot of therapy, like you said, I've worked through it. But are your relationships okay with the family now?
So right now, the only relationships that I've started reconciling is with my parents.
Okay,
None
good.
of my siblings, and I'm one best friend and I are just starting to reconcile. But that was a miracle. I didn't
Yeah.
think I would see my parents for the rest of my life,
Oh,
because of how dramatic and traumatic the breakup
yeah.
was and the harm that was done. So the fact that this is even happening is absolutely mind blowing. And I will say that period of where we were on complete break and estranged from one another, as painful as it was, as devastating as it was, 'cause I think every
Mhm.
child just wants to be loved and accepted. It
Right?
was actually necessary, because I found what I was still doing as an adult, I was still viewing them as my mom and dad. And what
Mhm.
shifted for me during estrangement is I started viewing them as woman to woman and woman to man. And it's like, I don't need your, like, but it took me almost 40 years. I don't need your love. I don't need your approval. I don't need your validation. I validate the shit out of myself. I have all the approval I need. But as a woman to woman, I would like to have some semblance of a relationship, because I'd like to know that in our family line, we don't cut each other off just because we have disagreements. Like, that is not what I want to pass on to my children. And so that was a massive shift that allowed me to be able to return and try to reconnect with them on a different level.
I love how you broke the cycle. I did that as well in my family, and I think there are a lot of us out there who are doing that, and I think it's
Totally.
amazing.
Yeah,
That's
that's like, to me, I'm like, that's the best gift I could pass on to my family line, to my
yeah,
children and my grandchildren, and so on. It's like breaking the patterns that are so toxic and so harmful, and like passing down a lineage of empowerment and boundaries and communication and
yeah.
agency, and like that. Yeah, I'm so proud of us who are I always get words mixed up. Chain breakers,
Chain
not brain
breakers,
shakers,
brain
chain
shakers.
breakers, and generational healers. Like, this is some of
Yeah,
like the holiest work we could do.
I
And it
love it.
comes through sex work. This is what I love about this,
Yeah,
Ruby. It's like the very thing that people are like, you're ruining the American family, you're ruining society. We're like, bitch, we are healing it. We are mending it. Like, we are the prophets. We are the healers. Like, it is coming through the very people that we are. You cannot say our work is not holy. It is so holy in more ways than one.
yeah. Do you know how many marriages we're saving because they can get their, needs met, if you know what I mean, through
Yep.
other courses instead of, sitting there hating on their partner. But yeah, I always say we are marriage keepers.
Yeah. And even if a marriage does fall apart, to me, like my marriage needed to fall apart.
Hmm.
Like I that needed to happen. And so I actually give thanks to the adult industry and to
Yeah,
my sex work for revealing who I really am, because it helped me get rid of what was no longer meant to be. So it'll either help you keep what is meant to be or release what isn't. That is exactly what hopefully you want in life, is let me only keep which is meant to be kept and let me release what is not what I meant to be released. And sex work is a great way to find that out.
I love that. I love that. I'm excited. Let's talk about your coaching program. What year did you launch that?
I started my coaching business in 2018, a year before I started my OnlyFans.
Okay, okay. And how has that evolved? Talk to us about, how it began, how it's evolved, because I'll tell you, you're the most recent thing I'm on your email list was the get paid vacations. I got questions, girl.
Yes. Oh my God, that training was so good. So when I first started, I realized before I officially launched my business, people were calling me and coming to me for advice all the time. I had friends, and I still have friends who live around the world. They would fly in and stay with me at my house to be in under my mentorship. And now I know from a business framework, we call those VIP experiences, VIP weekends that you pay 10, 20, $30,000 for. But I was doing for free all the time. So I realized I've been doing this for free the whole time. I found out that this was actually a business that was making people a lot of money. And I'm like, what am I doing? So I formally launched my coaching business. And my very first program that I launched was my worthiness workshop. Because of my religious upbringing, I have been taught my entire life, you are unworthy, 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 unworthy. The only thing you are worthy of is hell. Like, so horrific of a message to tell anyone, but much less a child who comes to be unconditionally loved, and you tell them the only thing they deserve is hell. So it took me until my mid 30s to be able to finally reclaim my sense of inherent worthiness, that I am worthy of good things. I'm worthy of love. I'm worthy of blessings. I'm worthy of money. I'm worthy of everything I want. And I realized the number one reason people are not able to get what they want is because they do not feel worthy of it. You can want it all you want, but if you do not feel worthy of it, if you do not feel safe with it, you will stop yourself from having it. So that was my passion. Is like, there's only one thing I could teach people in the world that would absolutely change their lives. It would be worthiness. And so that was my first coaching program.
I love that. I'm a I'm probably what over a generation ahead of you. But yeah, it's like for my generation, you don't deserve it. You don't deserve
Mhm.
it. So even as a mom and a stay-at-home mom, well, I really want that new shirt, but I don't deserve it. I need to, but get this for the
Prioritize
family
the
or get that.
kids, take care of
Yes.
the husband, like
Yeah.
everyone else's needs before yours. Yep.
But you're absolutely right. Once you can get past that, you're going to manifest it all.
The world is yours. Like I really, like we were on food stamps for almost 10 years. And through my coaching work and
Wow.
through my sex work, right? I've
Mhm.
made 2 million in 4 years. Like just I found my power and I found my agency. But I used to believe I was at the victim of everyone else's decisions. And like I was so bitter at the world. I was bitter at everyone who had it better than me. And then I realized through life coaching work and personal development that, oh my God, I'm the one creating my reality. Are you kidding me? Well, if I can create my reality and I've been freaking broke for 10 years, I'm going to get rich. And that was,
Right.
that was my number one goal, was I want to get rich, because I know if there's anything that will change the quality of my life and my kids' lives,
Yes.
it's money. Like to be able
Yes.
to pay our bills and send them to the school I want to send them to, not the school that
Mhm.
is the cheapest and the freest. Like everything would change. I knew when I would make more money, and I can confirm that now as someone who makes good money. Life got a lot better, a lot easier, and a lot more magical when I had the freedom that comes with having a
Right.
lot of money.
Yeah, the people that say money doesn't buy happiness, well, it buys it
It's a
buys
lot of
them
happiness for me.
it makes things a heck of a lot easier, right? If you're not
Yes. Yes.
worrying.
I'm living in a multi-million dollar house in Southern California. That brings me a lot of happiness. I have a brand new car in my driveway. That brings me a lot of happiness. I'm sending my kids to the school that I want to send them to. That brings me happiness. I travel every single month. That
Yeah,
brings me happiness. And you know what makes all of that possible? It's money. And so, what I help now in my coaching business, like my tagline now is, I help you get richer and hotter. Like I work with clients, mostly women, but men and queer people too. Like, own that they're hot and flaunt it and make money with it, like being unashamed about how they want to make their money and making a lot
mhm,
of it, and then becoming as rich as you desire. Because even there's even that cap, speaking of worthiness, where like, okay, 100,000, that's what a good girl would make. Or like that's like good money without being too much. And I come in as the coach, I'm like, okay, 100K, that's cute. That's cute money. You want hot money? Let's talk hot numbers. Like, so I just love helping people own like what is it that you actually want? And
Right.
let's make that happen.
I love that. And so, so you started off with that coaching program, and you have a lot of different like offshoots too.
Yeah.
What would you say is your most popular, your biggest seller, or has the
Yes.
most people?
Yeah, my business has definitely shifted over the years, and I'm now really passionate about helping women date better and specifically rich, generous men. So, my number one program in the past year that has sold like crazy is our luxury dating program, where we
Okay.
literally teach you how to get paid to go on dates. And I am
Hmm.
obsessed because I was in the Midwest, married to a good but very poor man. And then I
Hmm.
moved here, and where everyone here is like multimillionaires, where I live, and I position myself to be around that because I'm like, if I ever
Yeah.
have a partner again, they have to be rich. That was non-negotiable. And now I'm engaged to the most incredible gentleman who is very successful. And it's because I made that my standard and I knew what
Right.
I had to do to become a match for that kind of gentleman. So now I help teach women how to do that because I just see so many women taking, like, you and I can relate to this. Like, I took care of my man. I was taking care of everyone, and I didn't have someone taking care of me, and it was exhausting. I'm like, I'm a badass. I'm a hustler. I can take care of a lot, but it would be nice to have someone who can take care of me and it's not all on me at
Right.
the end of the day. And so that's what help women, like powerful, capable, hot, sexy women elevate their standards to manifest the richest, kindest gentleman who's got you and can take care of you so you're not doing it all.
Gotcha. Yeah, that's I meant to take that training actually, and anyway, had a sick family member yesterday,
Mhm.
but I find that so exciting. So in your position now, you're engaged. Are you still taking these dates? Are you still
Mhm.
doing that?
So
Okay.
yeah, so that's something when I met my partner is like, so before we ever date, I need you to know I
Right.
am non-monogamous. Like I cannot be monogamous. If that is something you need, I am not your person. So thank God for that, those years where I kind of unlearned and kind of came home to
Mhm.
myself because I was able to get very clear on what do I need to
Right.
thrive in a relationship. Because my previous relationships had been, what do you need? What do you need? What do you
Yeah.
need? And I would always put my needs in the back burner because I was taught that that was the right thing to do. Now I know in order for me to thrive in a relationship, my needs also have to be prioritized. And a big need is non monogamy. So I've told him from the beginning, and it's an evolution. It's not like free for all. Like when I was interested in still going on these paid dates with gentlemen, I talked about it, and he's like, "Yeah, talk me through. Like, what's it like, and how's the whole thing go down?" And when I explained to him, he's like, "Great, like go make that money. Like you're gonna eat dinner anyway. You might as well get paid to eat dinner." And like, so yeah, so he has been so supportive of me, which is another just a beautiful reminder. Like, don't ever settle, don't ever
Yeah.
settle because there's someone
Absolutely.
who wants to wildly support you
Yep.
in all of your desires.
Yeah. Yeah. Partner and I have been together over 18 years, and I had a little checkbox because I've been married a time or two.
Mhm.
And it was like the very last check was I want an open relationship. And
Mm.
they were like, "Hey, I'm willing to try, like, educate me, tell me, that kind of thing." So, yeah, never settle.
Yeah, I love
Uh,
that.
the paid dates also for me, um, feed my need for adrenaline. I'm kind of an
Ooh.
adrenaline junkie, and so that meeting someone for the first time and,
Wow.
that little flirtatious stuff that evolves, for me as well, I think. It's
I love
also
that.
the
Yeah,
adrenaline.
they call that what NRE, new relationship energy, where you get those butterflies, there's that excitement. And like, I love it too. Like, I love being a muse, a mistress. I love like being an experience that blows your mind and takes your breath away. And I do think there's something about like when the older you get and the longer you are in a relationship, what I will notice is people stop feeling desirable, like, and they stop feeling hot and they stop feeling sexy and they stop feeling wanted. And what I do love about non-monogamy is you are constantly reminded that you are wanted and you are desirable, and whether you act on it or not, you can just allow, and this is what I teach my women in my programs who are monogamous, is just opening up to receive compliments. That's not a bad or dangerous thing. And you can actually take that, let it totally make your day, and then you channel that energy into your partner. Like, it's just amazing how much of my life, the women that come to me have been closed off from just being complimented and being treated better, and people being overly kind or flirty, but in a great way. And like, let yourself have the experience of butterflies, and you're still beautiful and you're still desirable. And if you want to act on it with that person, great. Or if you want to save that and bring it to your partner, great. But like, just because you're monogamous or not monogamous doesn't mean you have to close yourself off from like receiving that infusion of energy from other people. Like, everyone deserves to feel wanted. Everyone deserves to feel desirable. And if you're not getting it in your current relationship, we need to talk. But you can like, that's why you and I do what we do, is I feel like we bring that to the table. Is like, I'm going to show you what it is like to be wanted, like whether it's this person we're doing it with or the person who's watching getting what they want out of it. Like, I just want everyone person to feel that. Everyone deserves that.
I love that. I love that. So, give us one tip, and of course, I honor the fact you do sell your coaching program, but give us just a little treat. Give us one tip that you
Yeah.
might have for women who want to get into the paid dating
Ooh.
scene.
So my thing that I think blew my mind, but when I first got into it, is just finding out how many men do this. That this is, there are so many wealthy men who are like, this is a whole niche community that I never knew about. So I thought it didn't exist. And once I found out it existed, I was like, there's been this whole world of existence before I was ever born. It'll be here long after I'm gone. And that made me excited, because what can happen is a first reaction women will have is like, there's no man who would pay me for a date. Yeah, maybe for you, Nikole, or maybe where you like our brain immediately goes into lack. And so my first piece of advice is like, I want you to start being open to the possibility that there are so many men with lots of money who expect to pay women for their time and energy and presence, who would never expect to take you on a date without compensation. Because then it gets exciting, like, oh my God, there's so many of them. Like, you can book your calendar with as many as you want. If one doesn't work out, that's fine, because there's a bunch more in the sea that you can enjoy. Like, it is a completely normal way of dating for an
Mhm.
entire population, and it's untapped by most women.
It is, and
Mhm.
I'll share a little bit about me. For years and years, fans would be like, "Oh, I'd love to, take you out, or I'd love to do this or that." And I was like, "No, no, I don't do meetups. I don't meet up." And one day my partner said, "Why not? You're
Mm.
leaving money on the table. Get co-" And I'm like, light bulb moment. So, yeah, I get fans that are like, "I'd love to meet you. I'd love to take you out to what here's how you can do that,
Yep.
fill
I
out my
love it.
form. I'll give you my
Yes.
rates."
I love, oh, and that's the other thing. I'll give this other tip too, because like, people, another first reaction people have is like, oh my God, that's just like, how are you safe? And it is, out of my own experience and all of our clients who have taken our program, and they get insane results. We're talking women who have 25K months after this program. It's wild. A woman from our program, which ended just on Tuesday, she has her next 2 years of rent completely paid for. Like, it's, the results from this program is insane. And I wish people knew how accessible that it was, that if one doesn't work out, that doesn't mean there's any shortage. And it's so safe, because the way we teach, it's different than sex work in the sense like, well, our program, it's not sex related, it's only for dates, and it's always in public, and it's always at a restaurant. And just like, versus if you go meet a dude on Tinder and he wants you to come to his apartment, that is way more dangerous to me than meeting one of these very successful, wealthy men who have a lot on the line to lose. So like, I just like, once I learned this, I was like, why did I know this 20 years earlier? Like, it is such a safe, lucrative way to date.
That analogy, so I have a bunch of single girlfriends who, we they go to the bar, they'll pick up a dude, they'll go home, hook up, and I'm like, "You are being more unsafe than me,
Yes. Yes.
who
Oh, totally.
does a full background check." Sorry, but, it's like,
Yeah.
and these are the girls that don't, I'm not I'm not cool enough to be with them anymore, to
Right.
hang
Like,
out
you're
with
the
them.
bad one. When you're
Yes.
like, I'm actually going like the above and like going above and beyond. above board and above and beyond to be safe. And like, and then I met my first fan for a meal this last summer. That's when I did my first ever fan meetup, and I loved it. I loved it. And he paid me my rate, and we had the best time. And like, uh, it's like we are so fortunate that way. We're like we have these online communities, and it's amazing, like these deep, intimate relationships you can form over the internet. And then when you do get me in person, just like me and you, like we knew of each other on the internet for a long time, and then we met in person. It was the real deal. There were like that's what other people are like. Oh, it's a parasocial relationship, as though it's a bad thing. I'm like, I think that's a beautiful thing. I'm giving you a relationship that is real and beautiful, and
Mhm.
the opportunity to meet in person. Like, oh,
Yes.
I love it.
I also love the fact that you are bringing this to light, broadcasting it. It's not something hidden,
Mm-mm.
that it's not the dirty
Yes.
little secret type of thing.
Yes. I'm like
So,
screaming from the
thank
rooftops.
you.
I'm like,
Thank you.
everyone, why are you not doing this? Yeah, I do it very intentionally. Like I'm very public because of that reason. It's like when I came out and started doing all this, it was so hard to find a mentor. It was so hard to find
I
someone
bet.
who talked about this publicly. And I would even email different sex workers like, "Hey, would you mentor me?" They're like, "No, I do not do that." And I'm
Mhm.
like, and I would say, "I would pay you." I'm like, "I'll pay you your
Sure.
rate." They're like, "No, I don't mentor." And I'm like, I could not find someone to mentor me.
Mhm.
And so I'm like, I will be the person, and like I'm gonna figure it out on my own the best that I can. And like eventually I networked and met more people. But I just think if we did talk about it more openly, the more of the shame and stigma would fall away, which is what we absolutely need.
You were meant to do this, Nicole,
What?
because you were meant to do this,
Yes,
and
I
because being
know.
a pastor, what do? You talk to people, you encourage them, you act as a mentor, and you took those skills, transferred them into the new you that
Yes,
evolved.
I totally agree. Like I love my coaching work. I love my OnlyFans work. And I remember when
Mhm.
I started my OnlyFans after my coaching, people are like, "You're going to lose coaching clients. No one's going to take you seriously." And what's so crazy is people now hire me as their life coach, often because I have an OnlyFans, whether it's because they want to do it
Right.
themselves, or it's like, how are you so sexual, so publicly, but you're also taken so seriously, and you have all these incredible opportunities and to
Yeah.
like proper placements, and you're like, you have a very lucrative coaching, but like, it doesn't make sense until you spend
Right.
5 minutes in my world and you find out like it does make perfect sense. But
Yeah.
people want that same level of freedom to be their full selves and not feel like
Mhm.
we can only be this or be that. Like you get to be sexy and successful. You get to be
Right.
risque and be respected. You get to be wild and wise. Like I just refuse to buy into this paradigm that I can only be one thing. Like be
Yes.
all of it, baby.
Yeah, and it goes back. You talk about those deep seated, religious things that were instilled in you, and it goes back to that same thing. Oh, you can't be pretty and smart at the same time. Hell, yes, you can.
I mean, we are living proof, woman. Look at us. Look at us. We are pretty and we are crushing it.
Yeah, and the thing I've loved about sex work too, the whole adult industry is that there is a fan for every body style, every single thing that you think is a flaw about yourself. There are people out there that are looking for that. They love it. Oh,
One,
you have stretch marks? They love that milfy. Yeah, I had kids. That has been, I've goosebumps just saying that, but that has been, I would say, one of the most amazing things is there's people out there looking for you.
oh, I was just telling someone recently, having an OnlyFans is what made me fall in love with my entire body.
Mhm.
Because every person has parts of their body they're insecure about, they don't like, we wish we could change. And to be wanted in real time, like when I do live streams, you see everything. There's no hiding anything. And if the fans naming the very things that I feel insecure about, for example, they're like, "That is my favorite part about you." That has been, and it took me years to believe them. I'm like, "Yeah, yeah, yeah, you're expect," but now that I've been doing it for years, I'm like, "Oh my God, they mean it." And this is what I love about social media and OnlyFans is giving power back to us where we can start our own pages. We don't need to be chosen by some high end agency that says, "Oh, you're not the age, you're not the body type." Like, no, we have the power and we have the control, and we are able to give these men what they want. And what I also love is I did this collab recently with three other women, and the three of them are very curvy. I am the least curvy. I was the tiniest of them all. And we did this reel, say, pick your favorite one. I had the least
Mm,
amount of likes. And I loved it because it just shows like men want curves. They want
yeah,
cellulite. They want the real, they want the jiggle. And I was like, see, this is what society needs is they
yeah,
didn't pick the slim one. They wanted the curves. They wanted the big girls. And like,
right,
that I think that's always been the case, but because media was controlled by the conglomerates and not by the masses, they
right.
only showed what they wanted to show and wanted to sell. And now we are revealing to people, no, you're wanted and you're wanted and you're wanted and
Yeah,
everybody is good.
I love that. So what are we doing in 2025? Do you have any new coaching programs coming out? Tell me about any big projects, goals. Are you going to
Yes.
be shooting pro porn?
The goal is global domination, no, no,
Global domination.
no big deal, no big thing. But I'm always working on my global empire. So my ultimate goal, which is to have my own TV show, to have my own personal development book line, to have my own lingerie, makeup, high heel line. Like I do want to have a global empire that, I'm a household name. I sell all these products. So that's the dream. So my coaching, my OnlyFans is like very meaningful work, but it's like cute. It's my cute work on the way to
Mhm.
my global empire plans. So I'm working on my first memoir, which I'm super excited about. Like people have
Nice.
been asking me for years to release it, and I'm just like, I'm excited for people to read my story in my words because my story is
Yeah,
all over the internet by tons of media, and this will be
sure.
the thing that is in my words. And I'm always coming out with new programs. Like you just saw yesterday, I did a training on how to get paid to go on vacation and do what you love. Like
Yes.
I'm so good at monetizing your passions so you make money no matter where you go and what you do.
Yep.
And so I have a bunch of programs planned for this year, and they typically all center around making more money because I just know what a difference maker money is. And if you can make money being you, doing what you love,
Mhm.
then do it.
You should do it. That's exciting. How about travel? Any worldwide travel coming up?
Oh, all the time. I went
Paid
to
for, of course.
yes, almost always like almost all my travels covered by gentlemen. It's insane. It's insane at how easy this lifestyle is once you learn how to do it. I went to where did I just Sweden for the first time this fall.
Nice.
I was just flown to Belize for a week by a
Please, yeah.
hotel, which was literally one of the best weeks of my life, completely paid for and covered by other people. And
Nice.
then I'm going to Ireland and Ibiza this summer to actually officiate my best friend's wedding. So I'm
That's
I'm
amazing.
officiating it in Ireland, and then we're doing the after party in Ibiza, and then I travel every month. But those are some of the bigger international trips.
I
Yeah,
love that. That is
me too.
great.
It's gonna be so good.
Well, as we close out, shout out where everyone can find you and get rich.
Yes, get richer and get hotter. You can find all my links at my website, NikoleMitchell.com. My name is spelled with a K, Nikole. I would say I'm the most active on my OnlyFans and my Instagram. But come check out my coaching work if you're interested. Come check out my OnlyFans. I love having people go both, like whatever feels right for you. But come say hi.
I love that. Well, thank you again because I know how busy you are. And I just appreciate you making the time. And whoever's watching this, ladies, go contact her. She knows her stuff.
Well, thank you for having me. Thank you for saying hi to me at X3. I'm so glad we got to meet in person and glad we get to have this conversation. And thank you for being so public and open and helping people like be more unashamed and like live their truth and normalizing sex work. Like that work is so important. So thank you so much.
Likewise, likewise. Thanks again.
You're welcome. Bye.